Hey lovely people, well, welcome back to the lovely place. I just got here and look what I found. I'm in my truck. I'm coming up this overgrown driveway right through the woods, and right in front of me a nice tree. We had a storm and we got some trees down. I'm thinking to myself, it goes all the way across there, but I'm thinking, where did this originate from? Because I don't see the stump. I just see a broke off tree here. Go down here and look at this. Okay, so there's the end of a tree. Where in the world did this come from? Is it a limb? Oh well. In any case, it's across the driveway. It's a decent sized one. It's definitely bigger than I'm going to be able to lift. So let's grab the electric cordless Milwaukee top handle chainsaw out of the back of the pickup truck and let's get to cutting this thing apart. Alrighty, well, I just got the chainsaw out and it's got no lube down in here, so we're going to add a little bit. Don't want to run a chainsaw when it's dry on the chain lube. Take a peek here. It don't get any more full than that, does it? When I put this cap on, I'm sure to, yep, make it run over. Oops. Well, better than none, right? All right. I got my chaps in here. Let's pop those back on. Well, the reason I came up here today was I had an appointment here in the area. And for y'all who haven't been here before, this is the lovely place, and it's about a 60-acre homestead, future homestead, wannabe homestead. We're not here yet, but for the last 4 years or so, we've been, believe it or not, we built this driveway here. Got a dozer up here and dug it up, rented a excavator and put a hammer on the end of it so we could beat out some stone and stuff. Had a bunch of gravel delivered. We've built ditches with riprap, and we put a pole barn up front. Done a whole lot of stuff. For those of y'all who have followed, you know all this, but I had to come up here today. I'm just going to check, see if our creek's dry. I tell you what, it has been a hot and dry summer here in Tennessee. We've had a few good storms. In fact, we just had one, and that's why I wanted to see if the creek has filled up at all. When we bought the land, it was totally full, and we had bought it, you know, just before Christmas time, and of course, that's into the winter months, and that's when the creeks get full. Little did we know that in the heat of the summer, especially a dry one like this year and last year, we experience a lot of dry creek. But it's going to be really cool if it is dry. We'll walk up some of it, check it out. We've got, again, 60 acres, and the full length of this property, well over, I'd say, probably 2 miles worth of creek. I don't know for sure, but we're gonna go take a look at it and check it out. Now, what I love about this Milwaukee top handle saw is that, number one, it cuts great, but number two, you know, you don't have to worry about putting fuel in the chainsaw and warming it up and all that. You just get to work. It's a quick job. It's a small cut. It should work out pretty good. So I'm gonna start up here on these limbs. Well, it just occurred to me, I forgot to put safety glasses on. Safety first. We just need to get across this driveway, and then we'll worry about cleaning this up in a little bit. We'll grab the grapple on the tractor and get to work with it. It's a big one, y'all. It's a big one. Right there. This looks like black walnut to me. All you tree experts, let me know if that's what this is. I don't know. It's pretty. Very pretty on the inside. I'm gonna cut off this little section here so I don't hit it with the truck coming up through here. And then we'll get on up there and do what we came here to do. Nice. Well, that'll be some extra firewood in about a year. It's amazing how quickly you can get hot in this summer Tennessee weather. Yeah, it's walnut. Look at the leaves. Let me show you that I was right. So guys, that's what a black walnut tree looks like. I just showed it to you. Here's a limb off of it. That's what your leaves look like. And there's an up and coming walnut. Let's plant another one. That little walnut tree, I'm guessing, came out of the top. You can't see right here. But that tree right there that crosses, it's broke off up there at the top. And so I believe that's where that came from. And I think it dropped right out. I'm looking at the scale of the bark on that tree. Honestly, I don't think that's it. That doesn't match. I think I'm as puzzled as y'all are. Maybe more so. You probably know. Anyway, let's put this up and let's go check out the creek. We got a clear path ahead of us. Let's get on up to the barn. All right. AC. Crank it up. Let's see if we got any more trees down before we get to the barn. Hopefully not. This entire driveway is about 3/4 of a mile in length. So lots and lots and lots of work getting to this point. Lots more to go. Yeah, we're gonna make it to the barn, y'all. We'll get down there to the creek, check things out. Oh, I got some work to do up here. I came up here just the other day and cut the field. There's about 18 to 20 acres out there of field that has to be cut. So that, because right now we don't have any animals and no gardens up here, because guess what? We ain't here to take care of them. But hopefully that will change before long. Look how pretty it is out there. Yeah, this is why we call it the lovely place. Well, we don't need this yet, but this past winter we installed this wood stove in this chimney pipe. And I can't even imagine needing that at the moment, but man, it's gonna be cozy up here come this winter. I gotta hydrate, so we're gonna pop a little water in my carry-on container so that I can have water when I'm at the creek. Too bad I don't have creek water, because I know that it's gonna be pretty dry. There's gonna be puddles here and there, I'm sure. We're gonna take Blue here, the Polaris 570 four-wheeler, and we're gonna see if we can go a little ways. Let's put a little bit of go-go powder in here. There we go. All set. All right. Ooh, I bought bug spray. I need it. All right, let's go. All right. Let's cruise. It feels good to be moving. One little airflow. All right, so I ain't gonna lie. One of the reasons I wanted this place was for this kind of thing right here. Woo! One-handed ain't good though. So we're not working today. We're just doing a little play. Going that way, there's probably at least 2/3 of a mile of creek that way, and then the rest of it all goes that way. So this way has some deep spots that drops, and I see the fact that we've got this much water in here already from that rain, the storms that we had. I'm not going to want to go that way, especially not holding the camera, but we're going to go down here, and there's probably some trees across the creek. I don't know how far we'll get, but let's go take a look. Let's put you down in low gear. I'm gonna get you some up close looks. Yeah, we already got a tree. We may just be parking it right here, y'all, and walking it across. Okay, so what do you think? Should I leave the key in it? It better be okay out here. All right, so these are some really wild looking stones. Get you some up close looks at these things. I mean, we got a lot of creek to look at, but let's just go ahead and take a peek at this. This is all very dark, like charcoal color. I'm not much in knowledge when it comes to the different types of rock, but I will tell you, stuff like this is so light. Listen to this. Even this big old rock, I mean, it's got some weight to it, but not what you would expect. Interesting. But there are all types of Native American artifacts in this area. I have found several arrowheads, amazing quality arrowheads, on the land when we had the dozer dig the driveway. They were kind of everywhere. And but I've not yet found anything here at the creek. I've heard other people tell me that in the past that there's been some really interesting finds here. But let's see what we can come across. Hopefully it won't be a water moccasin. That is wild. That's really light. That looks like mushroom growth that's basically petrified a little bit. I don't know. All right, so this is why we're not going any further with the four-wheeler. Too bad I didn't bring my chainsaw. Actually, this might move. Look at this. Okay. We'll go a little further. Yeah, we'll get on down the road a little bit. Big old log across. Let's scoot on up. Let's walk up a little bit from here. All right. So, look at these trees. Look at that. So cool. If a tree could just talk, right? I need to come up here with a metal detector. There's no telling what all I'd find. Probably a bunch of junk, but very likely would find some interesting old stuff. There's rumor, and we've looked for it before here on the channel, of a cave on the other side of the property, kind of on the past the barn, up by that driveway that we were on a while ago. And that cave, I was told by a local, ran into him one day at a local market where they serve food, you know, and I was in there eating, and he told me that when he was a boy that he was exploring that cave and he found Confederate Civil War era writing on the cave walls. So I don't know for sure if that's on our property or potentially on the neighbors, because they share a part of that hill going down on the other side. So maybe one of these days we'll find that. We're gonna look, that's for sure. See that pointed edge right here? That immediately made me think of a possible arrowhead, but I don't believe that's anything. But you could spend literally days, weeks, months going through some of this stuff. And it's never the same stuff, because in the wintertime, as you can see how high this gets up, and it goes over those banks. And it diverts over into that part of the land back in there. And you got a stream as big as this over there when it floods. And I'm gonna, one of these summers, I was hoping to do it by now, but one of these summers what I want to do is get an excavator, come down here like I've come down here with this four-wheeler, and go all the way down where we're headed, and you know, fix these banks where they get low, block them up, dam them up, so that creek will stay inside of its banks here and not go over there. Oh, we got a new tree down. Look at this, y'all. My goodness gracious. The cleanup, I don't know if it'll even ever begin, much less get done. I mean, it's already begun, but yeah, that one's been up for a little bit. We got some spider webs under there. Something that's interesting is when you find a tree over like this, you never know what you'll find that it uncovers, because that's pulling up years and years of dirt and other items that's been covered up for a long time. So you're liable to find something right in here that you'd never have found otherwise, but the tree popped open will allow you to do that. I mean, look at this, for example. Oh, check out that snail. He's alive and moving. He's breathing. You can see it. See him moving? But I was just going to show you this rock right here. Oh, it's embedded in there. That's cool. This is where it was. And there's rocks in there. Just a rock, of course, but I tell you, nature is so amazing and God is so good. This is what it's about. Slowing down long enough to just look, feel, touch, smell, see things, which is under the look category. All right. You don't know what treasures you're walking right past, do you? Oh, here comes a little dose of reality. Yeah, that was a little reality, but it was a good reality. Anytime it's one of your family members that you love, you know, you take that call, right? But yeah, let's talk about the elephant out here in the creek bed. Or let me say this, the elephant that's not in the creek bed, and that's water. What do y'all think about this? I mean, again, when I bought the property, it was, and by the way, over there is someone else's property on the other side of the creek. But when I bought this property, it was full, flowing. I mean, I thought, I'll buy kayaks, man. We'll be going up and down this thing. And we can in the wintertime and half the year at least. Look at this trail right here. A lot of deer up here. There's some old black walnut. That's hickory nuts. Hickory. But, yeah, this might be a spot to bring in and fill up. Get it high, like the bank here. See how it drops and it goes back up, just to keep that water in the creek bank. But yeah, we have no water in here right now. And last year, I think it was even drier than this year. And we literally did not get water in the creek. I mean, when I say water, I mean a decent amount. Until, gosh, if I remember right, man, I think it was November. And so that was very sad. And we kept it this year until I think early June. So we only had it November, December, and then through June. So what, 8 months? And that's just not enough I was really hoping this would be a source of water for us, for livestock, and for, heck, who knows, even us to filter if we had to. But upstream from us are a lot of big agriculture, a lot of hundreds and hundreds of acres of fields that they produce corn or soybean on mostly. I'm still looking around, by the way. If I see something, I'll let you know. I mean, there's corn cobs. You can see the corn cobs that they've washed down just from the cornfields. But my point in saying that is, as you know, with that big agriculture comes a whole lot of spray, a lot of pesticides and herbicides. And look at all the corn stalks that the water has pushed up here against this. That's another reason for an excavator. Get up here and clean all this off and get this. This is what I call the islands. Normally, this is so pretty when there's water in here. There's these little high spots, and there's a bunch of beautiful running water. Sounds like a bubbling brook, and it's so cool. Look at that. You hear that? That is quite a different sound than a typical rock. Anybody knows anything about that, let me know. But there's no shortage of stuff to look at and check out. This is a nice straight shot right here of the creek when there's water. But yeah, it's been dry. So, you know the old saying, if the creek don't rise, I'll get to it. In my case, it's the opposite. If the creek don't go dry, we'll be all right. But here it is. So hopefully there'll be better times to come with this creek. Look at that. That's pretty right there. That's a pretty color. Just interesting. Like, that's broken. That's just a flat piece. It doesn't quite look natural. A lot of this, I think I was saying earlier, this changes all the time because of in the winter, you know, that flow coming through here. I mean, like whitewater rafting kind of water. Not quite that bad, but a lot of volume, a lot of movement, and a lot of churning up all the stuff on the bottom and bringing new stuff, as you saw a moment ago. What's that right there? Okay. I wish we could find us an arrowhead together. That would be cool, wouldn't it? A lot of times you'll find it in the bank, because this bank obviously wasn't this wide in the past, and so that means that Indians very likely would have camps down here at different parts of the year. They were smart enough to know it floods, and so but as this has pulled stuff out of the bank here and washed down, there's no telling what could be just laying out here for anybody to find. I wish there was an arrowhead detector. I mentioned the metal detector, but wouldn't it be cool if we could do some? I tell you, there's some people that can spot them a mile away, and there's some people that could watch this video and see stuff I don't see. I had a fella up here doing some surveying. We were riding on that four-wheeler. He was on the back, and I was driving him to a different location, and we were going up that driveway that I told you about. And we were going pretty fast. And he said, "I think I just saw an arrowhead back there." I said, "Yeah, okay." And I turned around. We went back, and there's only a piece of that thing sticking up out of the ground. He reached right down there and picked it up and pulled out the prettiest arrowhead you've ever seen. I don't know how he saw it, but he came back since then, and I'm not kidding you, he found another one. It's mind-blowing, but I don't have that gift. I have found some, but I mean, he literally just drove past something, walked past something. He wasn't even actively looking. Let's keep going. You hear them birds? Look at that stump right there in the middle. Old bottle. I don't like that being in here. Stick that in my pocket. So I've come a little farther off camera. I just ran across something that's worth looking at. Check this out. That's a big old mushroom, y'all. What kind is that? What kind is that? Let's look underneath and see if it's got gills or not. No, it doesn't. That might be edible. Who knows what that is? It looks like it's still, if it is edible, it looks like it would still be edible. It's not all hard and dried up, but it's growing off these old dead logs here. We've actually harvested some, what's it called? Chicken of the woods or something like that. That might be what that is, I don't know. And I could be wrong about what it is. My daughter knew, and she's one of the mushroom experts. I've got a book. I've heard you got to read these books in order to know what's in them. So I might want to read that book, and then I could tell you. But if anybody knows, stick it in the comment. Believe it or not, this area right here is an area that I fully cleaned out, had cut down to the ground. Now that was a couple summers ago, and so it's growed up pretty good, but it wouldn't take too much to come back in here with my DR field and brush cutter and work on that. By the way, everything I'm telling you about, there are playlists for that, and that DR is really cool to watch. If you got land, you need something like that. If you can't get a skid steer with a big old mulcher on it, then you want something like what I'm talking about. I got a big old spider web. I'm gonna get down here before I walk through it. Can you see it? There we go. All right. I don't know how much further we'll go. Again, you could just stay in one spot and spend the day. Look how pretty this is. If anybody sees anything interesting, let me know. Tell me to go back and get it. Now over here you can see where it diverts over that way up yonder. We are walking pretty much due west, as you can see. Put the camera down this way a little bit. And you can see behind me, we've come a little ways. But cross your fingers, we'll get some big old rains before long. I'll have to, walking on these webs, I'll have to come back and show you this in the winter time after the rain we get here in Tennessee. On average, Tennessee, if I'm correct, gets around, I don't know, 42 to 44 inches a year. And that's why our plan is to harvest rainwater. I wonder what kind of berries we got here. There's a lot on this tree. Speaking of that, this did not used to be black bear country, but there have been some spotted in this area. We're in Middle Tennessee, and it doesn't happen often, but it happens. In fact, there was a golf course just up the road and across the highway from me, and they got that on camera, a black bear just walking around up there. So I mean, they're close enough to be right here right now. We just don't know it. We definitely have bobcats. We've caught those on all of our cameras. We've got cameras all over the property, and of course we've caught tons of coyotes. There's coyotes everywhere. I haven't seen many lately, which is great. A lot of deer. Wow, look at that. That's pretty. Neat geometric shapes here. This is the kind of video you watch, I guess, when you just want to chill out, right? That's what we're doing. A lot more stuff just pushed up against this. Let's look down in this hole here, see what we see. Look at this one. It's all broken up, white on the inside. That ought to tell some people what this is. Is that sandstone? What is that? Limestone? I don't know what this is. But that is very porous and brittle. I don't think that's the typical rock in here. Oh, that was in my face. Anyway, let's walk a little bit further and then we'll head back. Oh, no, that's not the area. All right. The time has come for me to tell a story to you guys who have made it this far into the video. Those who cut out early, well, they lost the benefit of this. But here goes. Are you ready for this? This is a cool story. So I have a son, and I took him camping when he was just a boy. He's a grown man now, and I regret that I didn't take him camping enough. But we did go out this one time that I'm talking about, and I think it was a couple days before we went camping. We walked those woods and we were just kind of looking around. Well, I told him, I said, hey buddy, you better be looking down at these rocks and look underneath these rocks. You're liable to find an arrowhead under one of them. And he just started turning over rock after rock after rock, but he kept walking around this one big rock that was near a tree, and he just never went over there and moved it. And I thought that'd be the first one he'd move because it was the big obvious one, right? And he never did go over there. And I said, what do you think about that rock right there? And of course that's when he saw it. He went over and looked underneath it, and lo and behold, he found the most perfect arrowhead. You would think that that thing was man-made. Well, all arrowheads are man-made, right? But you would think it was like made in the last 5 years. It was so perfect. And the reason you would think that is because it probably was. I had previously purchased that arrowhead at a store that sells, you know, people can sit around and make them right now and sell them at these little souvenir stores. And there's stores like that around Tennessee here. And I had been on a little trip, road trip, and I walked into a store a week or two before that, and I bought that thing to give to him. And I just thought to myself, it'd be a whole lot better if he found it. Well, he did. He was on cloud 9. So, you know I couldn't have ever told him, hey, I put that there. So I didn't. I never told him that. Well, like I said, he's a grown man now. And it wasn't long ago, I don't know, a year or two, that we got to talking. And I told him. I think he felt like I had just bursted some bubbles that were still floating around him in the air. And but he laughed and he appreciated the fact that I did that. And I did it to give him an experience. Is that bird chirping? I guess. I wanted to give him an experience and give him a love for nature that I've always had. And he loves nature. He loves animals. But I just wanted to share that with you. It makes me, I think of that every time I think about this stuff. But there's a long way to go. And we got to get back because I got stuff to do, sadly, in the real world this evening. So let's get on back to Blue and get on up across the field and get her parked in the barn. Well, lovely people, thank you for joining me today on this little treasure hunt and this little dry creek walk. We appreciate you being a part of the lovely place and the journey that we're working toward. If you like this kind of stuff, give it a thumbs up and come back and see us again. We appreciate you joining us. We post a video just about every Saturday morning. So come on back when you want to see us again. Oh, and by the way, I just want to thank all of our subscribers. We have crossed a big milestone of 15,000 subscribers. Never dreamed we'd have 15 subscribers, and we got 15,000. So come on and join us. Keep subscribing. We appreciate you. God bless.